SON is family-owned and operated with a proud tradition of operating Taco Bell restaurants in Oregon and Idaho that stretches back over 50 years. Our dedication to family and the communities where we operate spans 4 generations and is a fundamental part of who we are.
Our mission is to develop, inspire, and empower.
Develop, inspire, and empower
our leaders, teams, and faces of SON.
Our leaders, teams, and the faces of SON.
Our leaders, teams, and faces of SON.
To bring joy to our customers.
To bring joy to our customers.
To bring joy to our customers, community, and families.
Customers, community, and families by serving
fast, fresh, and delicious food.
Fast, fresh, and delicious food.
With a smile.
With a smile.
Fast, fresh, and delicious food with a smile.
With a smile.
Join our growing team at careers@tacobell.com.
No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise Pregame Show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN Pregame Show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out lithiafordboise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise Pregame Show from Bronco Nation News.
A short time ago, stepping off the bus, the Boise State football team, there's offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter, and the man of the hour, head coach Spencer Danielson, getting set his first full season as the head coach of the Boise State football team. This is Lithia Ford of Boise Pregame Show. We are live in Statesboro at Paulson Stadium, getting you set for Boise State and Georgia Southern in the season opener here on Bronco Nation News. As always, hope you can hear us okay. Hope the video's okay. We're streaming off a cell phone, so we'll do the best we can do today, folks. Hope we don't overheat our laptop or anything as well. But if you got any issues, technical issues, let me know. I'll do the best I can, but no promises. You see Spencer Danielson, the Broncos, arriving on a 90-degree-plus day here in Statesboro. It is hot. The sweat is already flowing, but it's football, and we're back for the 2024 season here for the Boise State football team. Lithia Ford of Boise, the title sponsor of our pregame show all season long. We thank Jim Sturk and company over at Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. View that full inventory of vehicles. And as always, We're broadcasting from the Western Collective Studios. Head on down to the watch party. You still got time. 2 o'clock kickoff in Boise. They'll be watching it at Western Collective. $3 Horseshoe Gold Nails, discounted burgers, and 10% of all sales go to help Boise State and the Horseshoe Collective, the student athletes at Boise State via the Horseshoe Collective. So head on down, 2 o'clock. Watch the game with Bronco Nation News and the Collective down there at Bar National inside of Western proper. Down there on Idaho Street in downtown Boise. Just walk in, turn to the right, and it's right there. Look at Ashton Genty. He's ready to go. Look at the swag there from your Boise State running back as the Broncos getting set to open the season here against Georgia Southern. We welcome you in live here at Bronco Nation News to the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. Again, we are live at Paulson Stadium. We are broadcasting off of my cell phone. So, again, hoping that we're okay. We'll do the best we can. Stick with us here. No Wi-Fi, but wanted to be down here on the field to give you the sights and sounds of what's going on. So, it is hot. As you can see, I'm sweating. I got my towel and doing the best we can. But it is super hot down here on the field. Super excited, though, for Boise State football and the 2024 season. We got a great show coming up for you. We got Cody Gogler joining us in just a couple of minutes. Jeremiah Dickey's going to be by as well. We got Danny Reed, the play-by-play voice of Georgia Southern. We're going to hear that Chris Marshall interview from the story that we did earlier as well. So, again, happy to be here. We're taking your score predictions. We're taking your comments. We're taking all your questions and thoughts there in the ICCU YouTube chat. So, again, let us know if it sounds okay. Let me know if the picture's okay. We're hoping we don't overheat here. It is super hot on the field. I bought an umbrella at Dollar General on the way down here, and I've tried to prop that up to keep the laptop from getting too hot. And it's super hot, and we'll do the best we can. So, streaming off a cell phone, it looks like the quality's okay. Not sure if it's great, but we'll do the best we can here on Bronco Nation News. You see Paulson Stadium behind me. We'll make that full screen for a minute and get a look at the field. They say it seats 25,000. I guess if you count a couple thousand in the berm, we'll count that, but it doesn't look like the biggest stadium of all time. But nice little stadium and should be rocking today. Sellout crowd expected for Boise State and Georgia Southern here on Bronco Nation News. Our man Cody Gogler is going to join us just a second here. We'll bring him on in. We got a mic for him. Figure might as well kick off the show with our man Cody Gogler. There he is. Cody, how we doing, man?
What's up, BJ? Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm sweating a little bit, so I apologize for that. It's super hot here, but man? It's a holiday, man. It's game day. It's a new season of football. It's got to be exciting for you in the athletic department here.
It's the greatest time of the year, man. You only get so many days out of the year where you get a chance to do this. Grateful, blessed, fortunate. So awesome to be down here with our Bronco Nation down in the Deep South. Try to get off to a good start this year.
Yeah, you guys are doing it again next year, going to South Florida. I don't know what it is about these first games in the South that you guys like doing, but you rode over on the buses with the team, about an hour drive over from the hotel in Savannah. What's the mood like right now? I'm sure everybody's fired up, ready to go.
Yeah, focus, excitement, all the regular things that come with your first game of the year. I think everybody's locked in. We all drank our pickle juice on the way to get hydrated. A lot of excitement around this game, a lot of national publicity about Boise State this year, which is something that we're certainly grateful for, but you got to go out and earn it.
Football team's got the pickle juice. Basketball team's got the beet juice. So, they whatever works, right? Just from an athletic department standpoint, just the excitement of the last 8 months. It's been building. It's been building for this football season. You guys are over 20,000 season tickets, but obviously now it's time to put all the hype and ticket sales and everything else aside for 3 hours and try to win a game today.
Yeah, you go through that same process in the offseason, the same as our football program. You've got all of your objectives. We have 3 different phases of our offseason as we look at football external and ticket sales, fundraising, so on and so forth. And just really grateful for our team and the success that they're having. 20,000 season tickets. I think it's the first time that's been done since 2014. So that really is also a testament to Bronco Nation. Bronco Nation, as you guys know, I always say this. We love you. You're our heartbeat, and we're all in this together. You can feel the momentum. You can feel just this genuine energy around this group, as we all rally around Spencer as he begins his first full year as our head football coach. And, we're fired up, brother. These are the days that make it all worth it.
Well, I mean, you say they're fired up. We already got 594 people watching live right now back in Boise and around the United States. Excited for this one. Be coming here on Thursday, the long trip down. I know it's kind of the process you guys have. But aside from getting stopped by that train trying to get to the team hotel, I mean, has it been a pretty good trip for everybody?
It's been a great trip. You get out here a day earlier, get acclimated to the time zone, get acclimated to the humidity, go have a nice practice in the sun. Just continue to get that acclimation so that you can simulate as much of that game day experience as you possibly can. Great hospitality here. Really grateful for our friends at Georgia Southern, taking really, really good care of us. You can tell that they're excited about this game. Like you mentioned, this is going to be a sold-out crowd. We've had some good time with our donors and our sponsors, just going out and exploring Savannah. Beautiful city. These are places, when you live up in the Pacific Northwest, you dream about coming down and experiencing. And so the only thing left to do at this point is to kick this thing off and get this season started.
I know it's obvious, but the football program and the success of the football program and how that relates to the rest of the athletic department, not just one game today, but just in general, this season, there's so much hype. A hope for a bid in the college football playoff. I mean, there's so much on the line. How important is it, I guess, for this athletic department? And it's an obvious answer, but it'd be really nice, obviously, for you guys to have a big football season this year.
It's certainly important. You can't hide from it. You can't hide from the brand and what the brand does for our athletic department, but not just our athletic department, for this institution in the Treasure Valley. So, with that comes a great deal of responsibility, how you prepare, how you present yourself, how you show up in the off season to get ready for something like this. Just being an innocent bystander, watching all of spring camp and going through fall camp, just able to sit there and observe. This group has definitely put in the work. Our team has put in the work, and there's nothing better than wearing this Bronco head on our chest. We're very grateful to represent.
Also, nothing better than a breeze when that comes through, man. That it's shaking the camera a little bit, but it feels pretty nice. I know you mentioned that you've been out at some practices, obviously following the program. I mean, just how for you, how fired up are you to have football season here, and what do you think of the team this year?
There's only so many spreadsheets and so many things that you can do on social media throughout the year. Only so many meetings that you can have. When you go out there and you look at this team, the first thing you've heard Spencer talk about this. The first thing that you notice is just their alignment, their unity. This team is together. They've got leadership. They've got senior leadership. And you can just feel that, like I mentioned, you can feel that genuine energy that they have. It's great to look at the depth chart and see the depth that we have at each of our positions, offensively and defensively. They've done a phenomenal job this offseason getting this group ready to go.
Cody Gogler, our guest for another couple minutes here. Senior, what's your actual title? Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Relations. Is that close?
That's perfect.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned going over the 20,000, and you still have another road game next week and a bye week, a very unique situation where you wait till week 4 of the season for a home game. We saw the graphic come out for the first 3 home games where you're already, well above 85% tickets sold. I mean, you got, there's been a lot of hype, but you guys got to be pleased with the way Bronco Nation has responded. And you get a nice win today. I only expect that to kind of uptick here moving forward. And you guys still got, 2.5 weeks to keep selling tickets for that home opener.
Yeah, we talked about it since the first time that Jeremiah arrived back in 2021. The expectation to present the opportunity for Bronco Nation to show up, show out, 6 home games, 6 sellouts. We've worked our way up. We had the largest average attendance in athletic department history last year, not just in football, but in 6 of our 7 ticketed sports. So you're just going to see us continue to climb. Getting across that 20,000 threshold was something that we talked about way back in January when we started football external meetings. Spencer was a part of those meetings. And the thing that I love about our group is when we were at 17 and some change last year and we brought up this $20,000 goal, you look across the room and everybody was locked in. Like, that's something that we're going to go for. It's a part of our playbook for success. And, with us having a few extra weeks here, we're going to see how high we can make this, how high we can climb. Let's see how close we can get into the 20s to 21. And make sure that whenever we kick off here in Albertson Stadium and at the end of September, that Bronco Nation's ready to go and that place is packed.
Already, I think the highest in almost a decade or in a decade in terms of season ticket sales, as you said. Tell us about Spencer Danielson from an athletic department perspective and what he's like to work with. And, from a media perspective, kept waiting ever since he was hired for it to change or not seem real. But I mean, he's been the same guy ever since the 8 years I've known him. He seems like the real deal. And I know it was obviously a very public search and all that, picking a head coach. But obviously it seems like, from the day he was hired to now, nobody could have won I think Mike Prater said it was the greatest offseason in the history of college football. I don't know if I quite go that far, but I mean, keeps checking off more boxes. But I mean, from an internal standpoint, I assume he's a pretty easy and good guy, fun guy to work with.
He's just an amazing guy to be around. He sets the tone for that program and that building, the culture. I'll give you an example of the kind of guy Spencer Danielson is, where there's a lot of emotion that goes around football in general and all the prep and intensity and focus. Today, and we'll give a shout out here. Today is our head women's soccer coach, Jim Thomas's birthday.
There you go.
So happy birthday, Coach Thomas. We have a text message thread of all of our head coaches and senior staff members, which Spencer is a part of. And Spencer wished today on the way over here while we were on the bus, reached out and wished Coach Thomas a happy birthday, which in reply comes multiple text messages, likes, hearts, comments. That's the kind of guy that this is. He's a team player. When you would think that he's going to turn everything off and just be locked in, and he is, but he serves his team with the right heart set and the right mentality. You know, he talks about love Jesus, work hard, treat people right. He talks about being consistent. He lives that out every single day, and it makes it that much easier for our team to show up for him, and I'm proud to be his teammate.
Well, I guess final question, similar to the first question, but just, you know, the clock keeps ticking down. We're getting a little closer to kickoff. Just for you, for this athletic department, this university, this city, you know, this Bronco Nation community, you know, it's been a long time, I think 259 days. Here we are, you know, less than 2 hours away now. It's got to be pretty cool, exciting feeling.
For people that do this, you know, and it's for like myself, you know, I can't tell you how grateful I am to be a part of this, how at peace my heart is. So excited to just play a small role in development of this department and this program. With the new college football playoff era, and who we are and how we show up and what we say our mentality is, the blue-collar work ethic, the bleed blue. There's nothing better than starting a season off feeling like you've got an opportunity to go through a process, you know, navigate a journey, and have a seat at the table with the elite of college football and play that Cinderella role. That's not our mentality. We believe that we belong. But just the energy around the CFP this year and obviously what we've seen in the offseason with this group, man, the one word that I can describe is just so honored and grateful to be a part of this and certainly appreciate all the great work that you and others are doing in the community to continue to tell our story.
Well, appreciate it, Cody. Good luck. Have fun. Safe travels back to Boise, and we'll be talking to you soon, man.
Thank you, brother. Go Broncos.
There he is, Cody Geigler. Appreciate him for joining us here on Bronco Nation News. Again, the Senior Associate Athletic Director, External Affairs, does just about everything as one of the main right-hand men for Jeremiah Dickey. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if you can't. It's with the sunglasses and everything, I'm trying. And yes, for those of you that asked, yes, I even did my hair today. I got some crap for that yesterday on the show. We did it today. If you can hear me okay, let me know. I appreciate that. We're having fun here on the Lithia Boise Pregame Show. We're going to hear from Chris Marshall momentarily. I'll show you a live look here. There's not a whole lot going on. They're having a little meeting here with the referee, some of the game officials, it looks like. Hopefully they will move eventually here so we can see some warm-ups and see the Broncos take the field. But it is hot. It is humid. And it's as advertised here with the weather here on Bronco Nation News. I'm trying to talk a little quieter as they're doing this meeting about 10 feet from where I'm at right here. But we're going to hear from Chris Marshall in just a second. Loud and clear here in East Idaho. Thank you, Clark. Shout out Idaho Central Credit Union. We'll be giving them lots of love as we go throughout the show here. Sponsors of Bronco Nation News, including our ICCU YouTube chat. So get your score predictions in, your comments in the YouTube chat. So far, so good. We're about 20 minutes into a 90-minute show, so fingers crossed that our laptop doesn't overheat, that our phone connection stays solid, and we'll see if we can keep this thing rolling here on Bronco Nation News. So Chris Marshall, let's go ahead and hear from him because this meeting is going on, and I don't want to be talking too loud over them while they're doing this. But I talked to you guys about Chris Marshall. That was the interview that I did for the story. I hope you guys have all read the story at Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com. Chris Marshall, man, has overcome a lot. Got kicked out of 2 SEC schools, had to go to JUCO, had to work his way back, and he is grateful for the opportunity that he has had here at Boise State. He is a young man that has certainly overcome a lot. And as I said, this is his last chance, and he admits that and realizes that. And I saved the interview for the pregame show here. So here's my exclusive one-on-one conversation. Again, we got Jeremiah Dickey coming up at 12:45 back in Boise. We got the play-by-play man from Georgia Southern. We got Mike Sanford going to join us live. A lot to get to, but let's hear from Chris Marshall. About a week ago with Bronco Nation News as we continue on the Lithia Boise pregame show.
It's been great, just building with the team, building with my offense, taking it day by day, working hard, just really building.
What in terms of on the field, what are you trying to do to show that you deserve to be out there?
Just going out making plays, taking advantage of my opportunities. That's the best thing I can do, just to try to be on the field, stay on the field.
Obviously a stacked, wide receiver.
You may need to boost your audio just a little bit for this interview, folks. I apologize for that, but boost your audio a little bit and it should be good.
Saying how you kind of would fit in the offense.
It was more just Coach D just telling me about changing my life. That was the biggest thing of me coming here, just really being able to change my life and change what I've been through and turning me over to going to church more and different stuff like that. It was very big for me and my family.
How much has all of that played out so far? How much have you made those changes, and how are you liking it?
A lot. I made them changes a lot, and it's steady going, just stacking day by day. So it's a big thing for me.
Just the community, the team, like how has everybody kind of embraced here? How much do you feel at home here in Boise?
I feel very much at home. The team, I'm embracing the team with open arms. They embrace me with open arms. So it's just loving and going out and competing every day, day by day.
How do you kind of look at this as I don't know if it's second chance, third chance, I don't know how you kind of look at it, but in terms of trying to take advantage of this and make the most of it, how have you tried to, what's kind of been your mindset here?
My mindset is basically like this is the last chance, this is my last chance, and just going in, trying to take advantage of every opportunity, every moment, not taking nothing for granted because I know it can be wiped away in seconds, so just taking advantage of every opportunity, going in and competing.
What has it been like to reach this point? Obviously, you bounced around a little bit, been in some different places. You mentioned kind of some things maybe didn't go right. How do you kind of just look at the last couple of years for you?
It's been a roller coaster. That's the one way I can put it. It's been a roller coaster, but just learning from my mistakes and not making those same mistakes. Knowing I have to take advantage of every opportunity and nothing's given, everything's earned. That's one thing that's big that Coach D has brought into me and brought in my life. Like nothing is going to be given, everything's earned here. And just making me go push and be a better man, be a better player, a better teammate.
Having that, experience, being a highly ranked guy and having all that attention and the pressure and all that and going to the SEC and all that, I mean, how's that weigh on a guy like you at times? How hard was this, what you had to deal with?
I don't really believe in pressure. It's just going out and making plays, just doing what you love to do, having fun with the game. That's my biggest thing. So, even when I was little, like my father always taught me, like, we never really believe in pressure. You don't really have too much pressure. Your pressure is in practice and doing stuff like that. So when it's game time, it's just time to play.
But just like all the outside factors and stuff that maybe led to some of the problems, I guess, just how does that, when it's big time football and it's all that's going on, just how hard is that for a college kid like yourself to try to block all that out and do the right thing?
It's pretty tough to block things out, block the negative out, but you just learn. You just keep learning when you just growing, getting older with life. Just it shows you to just learn how to block things out. And Coach D has helped me a great amount with just blocking different things out, telling me just stay where my feet are at. So that's the biggest thing right now.
So when when it didn't work out and you found out you had to go to the JUCO route, what was that like? I guess what kind of humbling moment or experience was that for you? And then when you're at JUCO and you're all of, like I said, the recruiting rankings and all the stuff you've been, and now you're like at JUCO again. How humbling, how tough was that part of it?
It was very humbling just to not give up, just to be able to go to JUCO and put my pride to the side and say, I'm going to go here and take a lot of classes to be able to try to get back to where I know I can play and where I know I can showcase my talents, and really just, like I said, just put my pride to the side and going to go get it. Really wanting to change my life, wanting to switch different things around. That was a big change for me.
And Coach D said when he brought you in, he kind of told you, like, you mentioned this being your last chance. Like, how much did you kind of recognize that, and how much have you worked to make sure that you don't screw this up?
I've worked a ton, just taking it day by day, staying where my feet are at, going in and competing every day, keeping everything the main focus as in football and school. That's been the biggest thing for me, and it was easy just with Coach D always preaching to me and telling me different things, and that's just he's a great head coach. Someone that comes and tell you he loves you every day, so it's make you want to do anything for him and never want to let him down. So
yeah, I was gonna
makes
say,
it easy for me.
Sorry, I don't know if like father figure type's the right word, but like what does Coach D mean to you since you've gotten to know him here?
He's like another father figure in Boise for me. He's a father figure in Boise, just showing me the right way to live, showing me the right way to come in and attack every day. Not every day he's happy. You don't come in and see a day he's down and have a frown on his face. No, he's coming to tell you he loves you every day, no matter if outside is something else. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a big thing for me. So when you get in this building, keep your the main focus.
So what is your current family situation? Where are they living at, and who are you still close with, and kind of what was kind of your upbringing like?
I'm very close to my family. I stay with my mom and my father growing up. My son was just born 8 months ago, around last year. So it's just been a lot, different changes in my life, but it's making me a better person, a better man.
So where is your son now?
He's in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where my family stays.
Okay, Houston. So how often? So I guess not very often you get to be around him then, or?
Don't really get to see him too much, but get to talk to him on the phone. He's getting real big.
Okay. Are you together with his mom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is that kind of motivation-wise too? Now that you know you have a young child to take care of.
A lot of motivation. Just knowing you're not just playing for yourself. You're playing for another your seed. So that's a big motivation, and everything I do now is just going out and competing, knowing that I'm not just out here for myself. I have a real why, and that's my why.
And how much does that fire you up about just being here and the potential for this team and being out here in this packed stadium and being something you've probably dreamed of your whole life? You're close to maybe having a chance to do.
Yes, sir. Dreamed of playing ball my whole life, so this is very important to me. I won't take nothing for granted, and I know I can't take it for granted because I know it can be wiped away any second. So
and how much fun are you having right now?
I have a lot of fun just building with the team, building with my teammates, my receiving unit, coming in and just working every day. That's the biggest thing for us, just coming in trying to be 1% better every day.
Has there been someone else other than Coach D, whether it be a player or Coach Miller, or has there been someone else that's really helped you along since you got here?
Yes, just really my receiving unit. Austin Boat, Latrell, Camper, they just really been building me up and just really showing me the ropes here, just setting the standard and me just going and trying to achieve and strive to be the best I can be every day.
And obviously we've seen you on the sidelines, you're a very confident guy. You like to talk a little, and just some of the catches you've made. Just in terms of your football skills, what we see on the field, what should Boise State fans be ready for this year?
We should be ready for a lot of wins. It's just a lot of wins, a lot of team wins. We're coming in, we're going to play together, we're going to play smart, we're going to play fast. Coming in and just competing with any team, it doesn't matter who we lined up across, going and competing. And for me, just going out and trying to make plays, taking advantage of my opportunities.
It seems like every practice there's one or two catches you make where it's just like, wow. Is it I guess just those difficult catches and then just being the best player in that matchup? That's just something you excel in or like to have out there?
Yes, sir. It's football is 11 versus 11, but it's always winning your one-on-one matchup. That's where it kind of starts. Just if you can dominate your one-on-one matchup, you can make the game easier for the whole 11. But it all starts with a whole together. 11 on the field, it's a unit. Everybody standing as one.
And I guess final thing, just summing up the whole last 10 minutes. Just you're sitting here. You're 10 days from the first game.
Yes,
just everything you've overcome the last several years to be where you're at now and see like you're taking advantage of this. Just what's the feeling like for you?
I'm very excited, very ready to go compete. Probably coming out of the locker room at Georgia Southern, I might shed a tear just because I know where I've been and I know the work I've put in, the changes I've made, and just going out and going to go play, just being free, going to go play ball. That's something I've been waiting to do, something I've now had the opportunity to do, So I'm just really excited to go play ball.
There he is, Chris Marshall. Appreciate him. Again, you can read the full story at Bronco Nation News. You see the players on the field behind me. Ashton Genty, he is far left there. Sorry, this camera does not have a zoom. Doing the best we can here in the end zone. But you see Ashton Genty kind of center of the screen working with the running backs. Coach James Montgomery. You got some linemen over here going through some of their progressions near the goal line. We'll show you some of that. Again, Boise State, Georgia Southern. Clock says 90 minutes. I think it's still a little more than that. Boise State going with the all-white uniforms tonight here at Paulson Stadium. And again, sorry if the interview was too loud or the interview was too low, and then you turned your volume up, and then I came back on and probably blasted out your speakers. So I apologize for that. But we got Jeremiah Dickey coming up. We're going to hear from Danny Reed, the play-by-play man at Georgia Southern as well. Again, Boise State on the field, getting set for the 2024 season. When the breeze is flowing, it's actually not that hot. I'll be completely honest with you. It's not terrible when there's a little bit of a breeze, but the breeze isn't coming very often, so we'll see. But It's sunny. It's a nice day. Here comes your quarterback, Maddox Madsen, leaving the field. There goes Mad Dog heading back to the locker room. Broncos, again, getting set for the season opener. You're looking at live at the warm-ups here on Bronco Nation News. Here comes some of the defensive linemen coming off. There's Michael Callahan. Getting a little over 90 minutes from kickoff here at Paulson Stadium as Boise State gets set to take on Georgia Southern. You see Eric Chenander, defensive line coach, walking by. There's Herbert Gums, some of the defensive players. Heading back to the locker room. Kind of a unique setup here. I don't know if you can see it or not. They have a school bus kind of blocking the on the way in, where they serve the food and drinks right out of the school bus in kind of a bar area here for the folks at bring you back live here. Hopefully you can see me okay, hear me okay. Again, we're streaming this off a cell phone. We're hoping our laptop doesn't overheat. We're not exactly dealing with the highest technology here, but doing the best we can and just trying to give you sights and sounds of Boise State and the season opener coming up in about 90 minutes. All right, I want to hear from Danny Reed, the play-by-play man of Georgia Southern. And we will do that in just a minute, but I do want to do a quick thank you to our sponsor. 30 seconds thanking our sponsors. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.
Continuing on here, the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, getting you set for Boise State's season opener against Georgia Southern. And our man Danny Reed, I went on his show, so I made him return the favor and come on my show as payment. The play-by-play voice of Georgia Southern joining us here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Danny, appreciate your time, man. How we doing?
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Year 10 in Statesboro, and this, in some ways, could be the biggest opponent that has ever been in this stadium. There's a new video board. There's a new ribbon board. Might be a record crowd on hand. Some people think that the BYU team that came here in 21 is the top non-conference opponent ever, but you never know. By the end of this one, it may end up being that Boise State's the best team that's ever played here, but can't wait for it.
I was going to say, what is the anticipation like around town? You know, being in Savannah the last couple of nights and kind of just seeing it. It seems like people are fired up. A nice crowd already, starting to file in. I mean, it seems like this is going to be a lot of fun. And as you said, there's been some teams that have come in there. But what does it mean to have just the name brand and a team like Boise State to make the trip all the way out here?
I can remember back to that Boise or that BYU game in 2021. It was towards the end of the season. It was rare to have a non-conference game that late, but there was a big event the night before, and the conversation from a lot of the old guard, the people that were here in the late 70s, early 80s, when the idea of bringing football back, they thought that, man, it was building to a moment like this. And Georgia Southern wasn't even good in 2021. They were a 3-win team, but Coach Heldon actually watched that game. He had just gotten announced. He looked around and saw there's more than 20,000 people here. It's clear that there is passion for this program, whether it's good or it's bad. Now, ideally, you don't want a 5-game losing streak to continue, which is how last year ended. But the buzz has substantially picked up, and a lot of it has to do with they want the losing streak to end. This is year 3 under Coach Heldon. They feel like they've got their depth, they've got their talent, their athleticism. They feel like that this is going to be their best team. But there's also, for a lot of fans, you've seen Boise nationally, you've seen the success that they've had, but you never played them. Troy's played him, Louisiana's played him, Southern Miss has played him, so some teams in the Sun Belt have made their acquaintance before. But to get the opportunity to finally get this series going, Georgia Southern was supposed to go out in 20. COVID said no. Now we'll go out in 28. But to have Boise here for the first ever matchup and the fact that it begins a season, it's definitely worthy of the nationally televised audience that's going to watch it.
I like the stadium here. Obviously, it's interesting. It's not maybe the biggest stadium Boise State will obviously play in this season, but you mentioned the scoreboard, and it's something about playing at home that Georgia Southern over the years has been a tough place to play. We've heard about the cowbells and just the atmosphere and everything, but 9-3 at home under Helton, as he said, the last 2 years, 5-1 last year, and then 1-5 on the road. I guess we'll talk about that or whatever the numbers end up being. But overall, I think the last 10, 11 years, 46-17 is the number I saw on Phil Steele when I was doing my research coming down here. Obviously, that's a tough place to play. And why is the atmosphere there so tough for visiting teams over the years?
This time of the year and you guys doing the Inferno practices make a lot more sense because it's hot, it's brutally humid. The gnats and the dragonflies will make you feel like you're getting ready for the apocalypse. And a lot of teams that have never been here before, by the time the second half starts, they'll start well. And I'm thinking back to UMass in 2018. Granted, they had been here before, but it had been 20 years. That was a competitive game in 2018, but by the time the third quarter started, they wilted. You could tell that the atmosphere was getting to them. I'm not going to say that's going to happen today, but for a lot of teams that has been the case because the environment, the rabid fans, and especially this time of the year, playing on a surface that was initially installed back in 2016, but this particular turf installed just before the start of last year. It's going to be a spot where you're going to feel it on the field, whether you're a player or a coach. And I know a lot of coaches like to wear the long sleeves and the big hooded sweatshirts. I don't know if that's going to be an option, but also the crowd. And even when it gets cold a little bit later on in the year, the fans are passionate because for a vast majority of the history of this program, all they've known is winning. Yes, it is 3 straight losing seasons in 5 of the last 8 years, but so many people, all they know is 6 national championships, 11 conference titles, Tracy Ham, Adrian Peterson, J.J. Wilcox, Jarek McKinnon, the list goes on and on. They want that back, and they feel like a performance in this kind of environment not only shows how tough it is to play here, but it would also go a long way to showing that maybe Georgia Southern is back this year.
Danny Reed, our guest, he's the voice of Georgia Southern, getting you set for Boise State season opener here at Georgia Southern, coming up 2 o'clock Mountain Time on ESPNU. And we're on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show here, getting you set. And Danny, okay, you mentioned the Clay Helton era, season 3 here, 6-7 in 2 years. Obviously, made the transition from the triple option offense, bringing in his, spread kind of, passing type offense. How has that gone? I mean, you look on paper, obviously, top 5 running backs back, 2 of the top 3 receivers back. I mean, I know you got a new quarterback, but reading and talking to you when I came on your show earlier in the week, I mean, it just seems like everyone thinks this is kind of all come together at the right time here in terms of year 3 and really making that next step. The Clay Helton era, where is it at right now?
Typically, when the forward pass took place in this stadium, it was enough to get you thrown in Bullock County jail. But Coach Helton came in 2 years ago and proved that you could win games by throwing the football. Kyle Van Treese was the record-setting quarterback that year, and look, he was going to set records because they were throwing the ball 50 times per game. It was still about a 60-40 pass-run split. So, yes, from a standpoint of context, he was going to set school records, still threw for better than 4,200 yards, one of the best seasons in Sun Belt history. Leading wins against Nebraska and in this stadium against a ranked JMU team, and then App State to end the season. A year ago, another 6-7, but a much different field. Davis Brin's numbers were similar, but the turnovers down the stretch and the lack of depth really started to show during that 5-game losing streak when 6-2 became 6-7. Still, though, to go from a scheme that was running the ball about 80-85% of the time to a system that, look, some have said this is an offshoot of the air raid. They're not wrong, but their definition of balance is different from, well, they ran it 50 times, they threw it 50 times. That's not how they view balance. They view balance as making sure that the defense is off balance and they're able to dictate by what they want to do. So they still may be throwing it 60% of the time and running it 40, but to them, that's satisfying their definition of balance. But to get back to the original point, when Coach Helton got here and knew that he had to change things, the personnel that was here was fairly well suited to go into a shift like this, bringing back a Caleb Hood, bringing back a Derwin Burgess, bringing along a Dalen Cobb, but always having that Jalen White, that hammer of a running back that could still keep defenses honest. And I bring Jalen up where I do because I think early on in the season, breaking in a new quarterback like J.C. French, who's going to make his first career start, you need to be able to have that run game to make him feel comfortable. Don't feel like he has to throw the football 50 times to make Georgia Southern a winner. Jalen, if he stays healthy, should be a shoo-in for a 1,000-yard season for the first time in his career. O.J. Arnold is a wonderful compliment, played Class A ball in the state of Georgia, but has been a really nice piece to this offense. And there's depth everywhere. They may play as many as 5 tight ends. You could see 10 wide receivers. They like the depth and the athleticism on this offense. And I think that even though the QB is new with J.C. French, there's no reason to think that you can't take a step forward.
What about defensively? Obviously, with some of the stats and things I've looked at, that was obviously a little bit of a weak link at times last year. And that's, one area that I think Boise State, in terms of scoring some points, thinks they have a chance at. But you look, and they bring back Isaac Walker, Justin Rhodes on the defensive line, Marquez Watson Trent, a linebacker with well over 100 tackles. I believe 5 of the top 6 tacklers are back. I know TJ Smith, a safety as well. So what's the outlook for the Georgia Southern defense going into this game against what many think is going to be a pretty powerful offense in Boise State?
I'm not going to speak for Maddox Matson and Ashton Genty in the bunch, but seeing that Georgia Southern gave up 40 points per game in those 5 straight losses to end the season, I'm not sure if they're licking their chops. Maybe they are. Maybe that's just the sweat because of how hot it is today. But you have to feel a little confident if you're Boise State, even with a new quarterback. But like French, Maddox Matson does have some experience. It's not a ton of experience. He had the 1 start before the injury. But I would say for this defense, Coach Heldon has wanted to talk about that unit more than his offense. In Statesboro, though, everybody wants to know who the quarterback is. That's how good Jalen White is, but everybody wants to know who the quarterback is. That is a hallowed position in this program. But Coach Heldon has said that he believes this could be a top 25 defense this year. Just about every major tackler is back, especially up front. They're bigger. They're a little bit stronger. I think defensive tackle Latrell Bullard could have a huge year. He dealt with an injury in 2022, but I think that he showed what he could do at times in 2023. The more that he has grown, I think that this could be a big year for him. You mentioned Justin Rhodes. He transferred from Division II Wingate. He had 13 tackles for loss, so clearly the move up 2 levels didn't frustrate him. Watson Trent is such an amazing ambassador for not this program, but this school. Back-to-back 100 tackle seasons. He's the green dot guy on defense, so that's where Brandon Bailey will be communicating in a little bit of time that he'll have before snaps. And you brought up Isaac Walker and TJ Smith as well. Isaac didn't practice in the spring coming back from shoulder surgery, but he has looked awesome these 4 weeks leading into the first game. And with TJ, somebody that has the ability to communicate as well, he would be the backup green dot guy on defense. But coming back to his home state, he played a couple of years at Kansas State. He led the team in interceptions last year, but those guys trust him because he had to be selfless last year. He had to play a lot of nickel due to an injury to Mark Stampley. But I do believe when he is on the field, Georgia Southern is not only a better team, but they trust each other because they know they've got guys like Watson, Trent, and Smith that they can rely on.
Danny Reed, our guest for another minute or two here, the play-by-play voice at Georgia Southern, getting you set for Boise State and Georgia Southern coming up at 2 o'clock Mountain Time on ESPNU. This is Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. And Danny, what's been the thought, the talk and the thoughts on Boise State? From we mentioned just in terms of the excitement amongst the fan base and everybody else, but what are the players? What are the coaches saying? What's obviously it all starts with Ashton Genty and trying to slow him down. But what are they saying about Boise State? On the other side.
Yeah, I feel like Ashton Genty's name has come up more with Coach Helton than some of the guys on his own team, but that just goes to show you what he did a year ago and what he is projected to do this year. I think he's an amazing talent. I'm looking forward to watching him, somebody that can catch it as well as he can run it, but also that defense, a unit that has had some ability to give up the big play, but the ability to also make a play. I think about Alexander Tubner's diving pick against UCF at the beginning of last year, the game that was maybe going to slip away from the Broncos. I know UCF ended up winning the game, but he reminds me so much of what a Georgia Southern football player is, a walk-on who is now a captain. It is a great story to watch him thrive like he has. Offensively, both teams have a ton of depth at running back and wide receiver. And from a standpoint of what Boise could be by year's end, it would be a pretty cool story to say that the group of 5 representative played here. Now, that would mean that Boise would end up winning this game in all likelihood, but at the same time, Georgia Southern could also look at this and say, this is one of the top, if not the top programs that has ever played in this stadium. They may end up announcing a school record crowd today if everybody can go from the tailgate lot to inside this stadium. Being able to show off the new video board, the new ribbon board, and honoring the atmosphere with Georgia Southern's proudest tradition would be a win. It's going to be extremely difficult considering that team that's on the other sideline, but I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of final thing, I guess, for you, just not to ask for a prediction, but just in general, what do you see as some keys to this game? Where are you going to be focused with your broadcast in terms of what gives Georgia Southern the best chance to win, the best thing that could cause them some problems? Overall, just what is your take on this matchup?
I'll go one in each phase. Offensively, this is why J.C. French was named the starter protecting the football. 31 turnovers last year was the most the Eagles had in 15 years. It was tied for the most in the country. Cannot have that again. Defensively, I'm not saying Ashton Genty isn't going to get his because I think he's a shoo-in for somewhere at least of 150 all-purpose, but just trying to make sure that someone else doesn't have the huge game. And then special teams-wise, you don't face an All-American kicker and a punter on the same team very often, but I would like to see what Gavin Stewart does from a place-kicking standpoint. And another Aussie for Georgia Southern as a punter, and Alex Smith. He has improved a lot since last year. Looks like a football player, not a tennis player like he did a year ago. Ideally, you'd only want him on the field here and there, but if he does have to play and does have to come in, being able to change field position is of the utmost.
Well, it's going to be awesome. Appreciate you for taking the time here as you get set for your broadcast. Thank you so much. And I've really enjoyed the trip. It's a great trip here so far and looking forward to the matchup. It's going to be an awesome game. And Danny Reed, play-by-play man for Georgia Southern. Really appreciate your time, man.
You got it, man. Have a good day.
And there he is, Danny Reed. Appreciate him for joining us again on the Bronco Nation News pregame show. You see the Broncos taking the field. Jeremiah Dickey, the athletic director at Boise State, is ready. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Your athletic director, Jeremiah Dickey. More look at the warm-ups. Mike Sanford, a ton still to get to. Jeremiah Dickey coming up in just right when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from the Western Collective Studios on Bronco Nation News. Subscribe to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. Join the fastest online growing community of Boise State sports fans. YouTube.com/Bronco Nation News is the website. If you're watching on Facebook or X, we ask you to swap over YouTube.com/Bronco Nation News. If you're already watching on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button. And while you're there, hit the like button as well. Help us show up higher in the algorithms. All the press conferences, highlights, interviews, live shows, all of our content is available on YouTube. Again, subscribe today so you don't miss any broadcast. Hit the notifications button and turn that on so you're notified when we go live. And again, subscribe to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. Join the Horseshoe Collective and Bronco Nation News at every away game football watch party at the National. It's inside House of Western proper, part of the Western Collective group at 610 West Idaho Street. You walk in, you turn to the right, and it's the bar right there. They'll have full audio of the games. Great deals, including $3 Horseshoe Gold Nails, and 10% of all proceeds goes to benefit the Horseshoe Collective. Again, Western Collective has locations in Garden City or downtown Boise. Try some of their delicious beers, including that Horseshoe Gold Nail, the first beer in the country to support an NIL collective. Check them out, Western Collective, our studio sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. I tell you every day, but there would be no Bronco Nation News without Andy Rowe and our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Concrete coatings, interior, exterior, residential painting, commercial, industrial, all your painting needs. Consider the official paint and coatings company at Boise State Athletics. And again, our title sponsor. Support the sponsors, folks. Your next painting project, make sure it's with rowpaint.com. Check them out online, roepaint.com, or give them a call, 208-991-0567. Power and people, pride in painting. The title sponsor of Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Be on the lookout for the next edition of the Tyson Degenhart Show, sponsored by Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, of course, is that mobile e-branch online banking in the app on your smartphone. Check them out for all your banking needs, whether it's a home loan, a car loan, just want to get a standard checking account set up. They can do it all at Idaho Central Credit Union. Check them out online, ICCU.com. Whether it's the Magic Valley, the Treasure Valley, all over Idaho, all over the surrounding states. Next time you need to head to the grocery store, think Ridley's Family Markets. Find a location near you online at shopridleys.com. Again, love the Star location, love the Cuna location. Whenever we head up to McCall, that's the spot we stop as well. Download that Skep app, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. And keep in mind, Ridley's Family Markets sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game has been around since 1978. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They're part of the Boise State home team, and they can help you out at the spa team. The Rains family purchased our spa. We are loving it. The delivery, the installation, the setup. It was so easy. I highly recommend it. They help you every step of the way, and we're loving, as the weather starts to cool down here, our new spa from Snake River Pool and Spa. But again, the patio and game portion, they've got that as well. Pool table, billiards table, anything you need for the game room, for the patio, they can help you out. Again, full inventory can be available online. They're ready to help you now. Check them out. Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game, thespateam.com. The Rains family found out firsthand just how amazing Matt Bauscher and his staff is. #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley for a reason. The Rains family purchased and sold our home using Matt and his team, Kelly, Cade, Sarah, the whole team, just tremendous customer service. So thankful we went with the sponsors, 243-8222. Check them out online, BauscherRealEstate.com. And again, no home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them take care of you, BauscherRealEstate.com. Check out the Riley and Ridge Show every Tuesday night on Bronco Nation News. Former Boise State tight end Riley Smith, longtime Boise State assistant coach Kent Riddle, together weekly football talk from a unique perspective. Streams every Tuesday, 8 o'clock on YouTube. All right, we are back on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show live here at Paulson Stadium. And, the man of the hour, Jeremiah Dickey, athletic director at Boise State. Thanks for stopping by for a few minutes. It's hot, but we were saying it's not maybe terribly hot. I think it's going to be all right today.
No, I think it's fine. Honestly, there's a breeze coming through, and maybe wearing black was a bad choice by me today, but I'm excited, BJ. I really appreciate you making the trip, and we can't thank you enough for the coverage.
Oh, no, I appreciate you coming by, and I wish it was a little bit closer, and then, at least next year, I saw it's South Florida in the opener, but maybe we can at least get there in 2 stops and not 3. We had the fun 2 layovers to get here, but excited to be here. And just for you, waking up this morning, getting on the bus, coming over here, it's been 8 long months. I think I counted 259 days since the UCLA game. Just for you, what's the excitement level as the athletic director to have it finally be game day?
This is what it's all about. I mean, when you think about the work that our team behind the team has done this offseason, the work of Bronco Nation and how they've stepped up with season tickets, our BSP team and most of our sponsors, I mean, everything is rolling. And the things we talk a lot about process and the things we can control, we've controlled about as much as we possibly can this offseason, and really proud of everyone involved and what Spencer's doing and this team's doing. And now we got to go out and play the game. And that's the exciting part. This is what we work towards. And I'm ready to kick this ball off.
Well, we've got, looks like about 1,150 people, all over the world watching, over 1,000 people watching this live right now. I mean, the excitement is obvious for the season opener, but just the off season that you guys had and keeping Ashton Genty and everything you've done. And just it's been evident, obviously, with the ticket sales. We're seeing you're just outside the top 25. We're seeing kind of the talk about the playoff nationally and stuff. I mean, just for you as the athletic director to the last 8 months, could it have gone any better for you, leading into the season here?
No, I mean, this is how you draw it up. And I would take it a step further. And from the time I got here, this was the goal, to create that momentum and to have your team behind the team and the work that they're doing. And it's not me necessarily leading it all the time. It's them stepping up, and people like Cody and Chris and Patrick and Nate and CVT and HB. And I mean, the list is endless. We always talk about controlling what we can control. And for us to serve our staff, our student athletes, our supporters this offseason, to create that momentum, this is obviously an exciting time for all Broncos. And I hope Bronco Nation is tuned in and watching and look forward to seeing them here in a few weeks.
You only have an hour and whatever it is, so you don't have to answer any more questions about Spencer Danielson getting hired as head coach. But with that said, I mean, just as I said, from the day he was hired to now, I mean, I think even the people that weren't happy with the hire, most of them had to have at least been okay with. I mean, they had to have been convinced a little bit. I mean, he has just done everything right, said everything right. He has been at every function and appearance that's been possible. I mean, just to have him leading this team going into the game today. And I saw you out there earlier. You guys, you were part of the prayer circle. Just everything that kind of he stands for and that he is. I mean, keep waiting for him to be fake or to say it's not real. And 8 months later, he's the exact same guy I've known for 8 years. Just to have Spencer leading this team into the season, leading them into the game today. What can you say about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's about as authentic as you can possibly be. When you think about what he's done this offseason, and there's no perfection to this, obviously what we're navigating is challenging and the house settlement and collectives and paying student athletes, revenue share. It takes someone special. And I believe Spencer is growing into that role, and everything he's done, I could not be more pleased with him. He leads from the heart. He is who he is. And I always think about when you're mid-season and maybe things aren't going well, you know, who do you want to be locked arms with, and who do you want in that foxhole with you? And I would not take anyone other than Spencer Danielson. He's done everything about as well as you possibly could, and now we got to go out and kick this ball off and play the game.
Jeremiah Dickey, our guest here on the Bronco Nation News pregame show. You see some of the players taking the field behind us here for warmups. This you can't play the game. So as an AD, as it gets closer to kickoff and you start seeing the guys in uniform coming out for stretching and stuff, I mean, does you get the nerves start to go a little bit?
I do. I mean, the nerves have been going for the last 6 weeks. You know, I've been waiting for this moment. I know our team has, and, you know, it's special for me. You know, I see these guys, and especially the ones that I have personal relationships with, and just to hug them, tell them I love them. And I'm just so proud of what they've done. I mean, you don't necessarily see this type of culture and happen so quickly, and how they're locked arms and they're going to go to war with each other. And that makes me really proud to be their leader. And I'm going to cheer as loud as I possibly can. I have no I have no ability to impact the outcome of this game other than what our team did this offseason, and that makes me really proud to be a Bronco.
I mentioned the excitement, over 1,000 people on this live stream right now. I mean, you guys are above 20,000 season tickets, first time in a decade or so, and you still got 3 weeks. I was talking to Cody. I mean, you can see how now you're kind of getting greedy now with the numbers, see how high you can get it, but just the interest that it's been so far, and I mentioned all the hype and everything, but to see that translate. We saw the graphic. The first 3 home games are, almost approaching 90+%. To see the fans and Bronco Nation kind of respond to what everybody assumes and thinks and expects to be a good team. That's got to be a pretty nice feeling for you guys to see the fans back it up with season tickets.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about 3.5 years ago, and this is my 4th season. I mean, you plan the work the plan. And this was the vision, and to have Bronco Nation behind us and embracing it, and we still are not finished. Like you said, there's still a few weeks out, and why can't we get to 21,000, 22,000? I'm going to continue to raise the bar. We talk a lot internally about being bar raisers, and that's our job, and we're going to do that. We have an unbelievable community. Treasure Valley has over 1 million+ people. I want that game. I want every game packed, sold out, 6 games, 6 sellouts, and that's a non-negotiable, and we're going to keep driving towards that.
Tell us the update. I know we saw it the last week or recently. You guys got the approval from the state board for the construction phase. Just give us the update on the North End Zone project.
I'm really grateful for our state board and everyone who's helping us behind the scenes. That was the next step of a very lengthy process. We've been working on this for 2 years, and now that we have the construction package approved, now we go back to the board in October with the financing package, and I'm really excited. We could have shovel and ground, depending on weather, anytime between December and probably April. Where our timelines are still solid, and we're still doing a lot of work behind the scenes. We have updated renderings. Our process, over 225 people, I think, have asked to be contacted in terms of loge boxes, suites, club seats, and our BA team is continuing to do that. And so this is a very important September and October for us as we look to the future for our Broncos.
And I know it's so weird to not have a home game until week 4. It seems like forever away, but I mean, you guys put the speakers are in now, right? Or I saw some of them going in at some point. We had the lights, the scoreboard last year. I mean, I know it's a couple weeks away, but that Portland State opener, it's going to be a fun home opener in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, obviously, a away game is great, but I love being home. And I want to see our people, and they've worked really hard up to this point, and we have some exciting things, obviously the video boards and the lights and all the things that we've done in the past. But then you account for new stadium signage and going cashless in many areas of the stadium, because that allows us to get lines through. We know the lines are an issue, and that bothers me. And so we're going to continue to chop wood and find solutions to what we're challenged with as we look to the future of the North End Zone facility, east side of the stadium, and it's endless. We're not finished. We will never be finished as long as I'm here.
Ashton Genty, the hype that he's getting. I mentioned him coming back, and you guys putting outside parties putting an NIL package together. And I don't think anyone's crazy to think that he certainly could have maybe done better elsewhere. This guy wanted to stay here, wanted to leave his legacy, wanted to have a statue built for him outside the stadium someday. Which, by the way, we need to get something. That's a topic for another day in terms of a little Hall of Fame plaza or some statues or something. But with that said, what can you guys have behind the Heisman campaign for him, the website, the shirts? I saw some national media guys posting today that they got some Heisman stuff sent to them in terms of that. I mean, just as the athletic director, what was your involvement in that? And And what is it like to have a transcendent potentially running back like that leading the team?
My job is to define expectations and hold accountable, and ultimately I empower our people. We have an unbelievable team behind me. I get way too much credit. You hear me say that a lot. People like Cody and Chris Miller. I mean, that climb series was amazing, and that's just the start of things like that. And so I'm really proud of Patrick and they put a lot of time, energy, and effort. We want to celebrate Ash. He had the opportunity to go elsewhere, but his legacy matters, and that hits home for me. He's a Texas kid. I'm a Texas kid, and that matters to him. And he's a Bronco through and through, and I'm really proud of him for embracing that and sticking with us and his brothers. And I'm excited to see him play today.
Soccer's got a couple wins under their belts. I know volleyball. Yeah. I mean, the other sports are kind of going. I know we're obviously talking football too. We were just talking basketball before the interview. I mean, It's an exciting time in Bronco athletics with all sports, not just football.
It is. I believe that 18 sport programs, they all matter, and we're going to continue to invest and fund them appropriately. And I truly believe that in any given year, that every sport that we sponsor, that they can compete for a championship. And our coaches have really embraced that. Our student athletes have embraced that. Ties into a lot of the projects we've done: lights at Boaz, lights at DLP, video board at DLP, new locker rooms for a number of our sport programs. We are not going to stop. We're going to do everything we can to invest in our program and help these coaches recruit good players, make great coaches, make elite departments. And that's our ultimate goal. And we have a lot of work to do. Obviously, winning is not easy, but I'm really proud of where everyone's at and really excited for men's and women's basketball season to start. Gordy and Leon have done a lot of good work and recruiting and just building up that team and that culture that you see with football. You're seeing it in our other sport programs. And that's a testament to those leaders. And I'm really grateful to lock arms with them.
Cody was telling us earlier that Spencer even had time to send a text to Jim Thomas for his birthday today in the group chat.
He did, but that's what being a part of this department is. That's who we are. We can't do it alone. It takes a team, and I'm going to continue to say that. And it's the community who buys in, and to have someone like Spencer that is leading from the front like that as the head football coach on a game day and still taking time to recognize one of his teammates is a testament to who he is, and it doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Well, I guess final thing, now we're over 1,200 streaming. I mean, you got the mic here speaking to Bronco Nation before the game here. Just your final thoughts as you get set for another football season and what could be a really exciting, hopefully, 5+ months here for Bronco Nation.
I said it earlier. I can't thank Bronco Nation enough. That you all have stepped up, and I know we probably have a number of BA members, Blue Collar Club members, members of our community. It takes a team, and I'm just one person, and together we can do epic. And that's our goal, and I'm really grateful. I look forward to seeing you at Portland State. Tune in today. Go Broncos, 1-0 mentality always, and let's come home with the W.
There he is, Jeremiah Dickey. Appreciate it, Jeremiah.
Thank you, BJ.
Thanks so much.
You,
yep, I'll take the mic there. There he is, Jeremiah Dickey, athletic director at Boise State, joining us here on the Bronco Nation News pregame show. Thanks to Jim Sturk, Lithia Ford and Company for sponsoring. And again, thank you to Chris Coots, everybody at Boise State for helping us get on. Hopefully you guys could hear that. Someone's talking about giving us a like. Yeah, give us a like down there. Again, this is a free show that you're watching on YouTube here. We have, well over 300 of you watching on YouTube, and I don't see 300 likes yet. So help us out if you can. Like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can. We would really appreciate that. We're going to take a 25-second break to give all of our sponsors one more mention. We're back in 25 seconds. Mike Sanford, he's going to be hosting the post-game show. We'll check in with him in 25 seconds here on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.
All right, back here on Bronco Nation News. As I said, we're going to try something new. Mike Sanford's going to join us right now. Where's Mike? There he is. Mike, there he is. Let's go full screen here with Mike Sanford. Mike, I forgot. I got to put on my headphones here so I can hear you. But it's hot. We're on the field here at Paulson Stadium, and Mike Sanford joins us here on Bronco Nation News. Mike, you start talking, then I'll put the headphones on.
Yeah, man. Hey, BJ, it's awesome to see your face. They're in Statesboro, Georgia. I see a little sweat on your brow, so that means it's a little warm. There's some definitely
some towel right here.
Yeah, a little perspiration, some sweat equity right there. But man, it's awesome to be on with you. I'm really excited to be hosting the Taco Bell postgame show. We'll jump on immediately after what's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm excited. I'm anxious. I have the nerves that I think so many of us Bronco fans do have. And, even for myself, I have some of those, those coaching memories are coming back of like, I don't know what we have until we actually play a game. So I think it's going to be fun for all Bronco Nation to see exactly what we have, which against what's going to be a very game opponent in Georgia Southern.
We'll get to the matchup here in a second, but yeah, just to reiterate, no more waiting an hour like you have in the past for the postgame show to start. We will kick off the postgame show within 5 minutes or so of this game ending. So Mike, when the game ends, the clock hits 0, flip over to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. Mike Sanford will fire up the postgame show. He'll give you his thoughts. He'll give you his analysis. He'll take your comments, your questions, and then I'll go down to the field and interview Spencer Danielson and the players, and then I'll pop on the postgame show. We'll play those interviews. I'll give you my thoughts as well. So really excited, Mike, and appreciate you right off the bat. I want to make sure I say thank you that you agreed to give this a shot. We're going to do it at least for the first 2 games here, the Oregon game next week as well, and see how that goes. But excited for you. And again, right when the game ends, like 5 minutes, jump right on that post-game show, and we'll start that right away. I do want to pan the camera over here, Mike, if I can, for 1 second. We got the specialist taking the field here. So there's our first look of the first players in full uniform as the special. Oh, this looks like the some of the quarterback. Oh, Fulton's one of the holders, I guess. But we got the punters, the kickers. Mike, we're under an hour till kickoff now. You mentioned the nerves and everything, but once you get helmets on and get pads on and get out here for warm-ups, it starts to get real.
No, it sure does. You're looking at what I believe is one of the best specialist groups in college football. JFR, Jonah Dalmas, you see him huddling up. I had a chance to get to know Jonah Dalmas just a little bit at Bronco or at Mountain West Media Days, and just what an incredible young man, tremendous testament to just what he is and what this program is. So I'm really excited to see him today and see JFR, hopefully not too much. Love to see him about once, maybe, just one highlight reel type punt, pin him down inside the 1, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, it's real. This is not a drill anymore. This is not a spring game. This is the real deal. And I think it's going to be intriguing. It's going to be there's a lot of storylines at play. And I think the most important storyline for me that I'm looking at is what is this offense going to look like? How's it going to be different under new offensive coordinator, new-ish offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, Maddox Madsen? How's he going to settle in? And how much of this offense is going to run through Ashton Genty in the opening game of the season? You got to think about the long game, about Ashton Genty and how important he will be down for a Mountain West run, but also you want to make a great first impression. Just like Travis Hunter made a great first impression, Shedeur Sanders made a great first impression in terms of just notoriety across the landscape of college football. So I'm anxious to see, is this going to be a 25 type of a carry game for Ashton Genty? Is it more like 18 and about 4 receptions? I think it's going to depend on how many explosive plays the Broncos are able to create through Ashton Genty.
You mentioned the unknowns of that first game, both for, mostly on the opponent's side, but for you as well. Once the lights turn on and you see guys out there in a real game situation, what that first game is as a coach, what keeps you up at night the night before the game in terms of just the unknowns of what you're going to see?
Well, I think when you have a new football team, it's certainly if you're a brand new coaching staff, it's really what is our offensive line going to look like against the defensive line? And conversely, what's our defensive line going to look like against their offensive line? Sometimes you have a preconceived idea about which unit is going to be strong, and you don't know until that opening game, until you see the line of scrimmage moving one way or the other. That keeps you up at night. But with this offensive line returning, it's more about this era of portal and NIL. Does a team like Georgia Southern, are they better up front than they were a year ago? There's so many moving pieces, so many moving parts. And, I do think that there's a lot of storylines in the Georgia Southern program. Clay Helton just recently at his presser talked about this is the best version of his Georgia Southern Eagle roster that he's had. So is that going to be tremendous growth from last year, a team that went to a bowl game? So it's a great test right out the bat from a conference that is very good in the non-group in the group of 5 level, the non-power 4, that Sun Belt has been fantastic. So I'm anxious to see exactly how it all plays out. The offensive line of Boise State versus Georgia Southern front, and same thing on the other side of the ball.
You mentioned Genty, man. Just his first game here, all the hype, the Heisman campaign officially kicks off today. I saw him. He had the shades on, walking in with the headphones, and he came out here shirtless for the pregame warmups. I mean, just looks cool, calm, and collected as he can be, and knowing that must be a nice feeling just to know you walk onto that field and you're the best player on the field by far. But just his debut today. What are you expecting from Ashton Genty?
I expect him to just pick up where he left off. I think that it's ideally you have 18 carries, 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Like, that's the kind of performance that you want. You want to get him in, you want to get him out, and you want to make a strong case for a Heisman. But I don't think that the storyline today is necessarily just about Ashton Genty and his Heisman run. The Broncos have to start fast. This is Spencer Danielson's first season opener as a head coach. I mean, he definitely had the time as an interim head coach, and I can speak from experience of being an interim head coach, being a opening day head coach, and they're 2 completely different experiences. You get to see how your culture and everything you did in the offseason, how that ends up translating to what happens on the football field. And so I think the number one priority out of this game is get out of Statesboro with a good, solid win, period. And anything else, Ashton Genty, Heisman type run, all that is cherries on top.
I'm sitting my setup here is right by this kind of floor level bar they have behind the end zone here. So they're already, let's just say, enjoying themselves with some liquid courage. They're going to be ready to go behind me here, behind the end zone. And I'm getting heckled a little bit myself over here. So it's going to be a festive crowd here. We'll just say that.
Yeah, set the scene for me, BJ, now that you're there. I mean, what is, the drive in? How early did you get there? Could you see the tailgate set up? It's a big deal in the South. Is this the area?
They're over here. No, they're the other way. I was going to try to give you a little panorama of the stadium here as the crowd's starting to file in. It's interesting. You got 2 levels on this side. The other side only has 1 level where the press box is. They've got their facility at the other end, and then on the Boise State side, they built kind of a makeshift end zone with some suites and things. And I mentioned the floor level kind of beer garden type area behind the end zone here. I can't spin the camera all the way around to show that, but there's a couple of guys that I'm sure would love to get in front of the camera here. No, it's a nice little, these little college towns. I mean, we stayed in Savannah, so I didn't get to see much of Statesboro, but pulled in, and it's kind of what you'd expect from kind of a small college town in the South, and a ton of tailgating going on all day, and a ton of fans. And they say this place seats 25,000. It doesn't feel that big. It feels a little smaller, but they do have a lot of seating on the berm, and in all 4 corners, essentially, there's some grass seating where you can bring a blanket and sit down in the corners. So that adds to the capacity, I guess, of the stadium here. But I'll tell you what, for all the humidity and heat that there is, and it is bad, there's some of these high clouds, and when the sun goes behind these high clouds, and then there's actually a nice little breeze as well, it's really not that bad, to be 100% honest with you. Maybe it's the 5 bottles of water I've already drank and the towel I have here to continue to wipe off on my face. But it's really not as bad as I was expecting. There's a nice little breeze that is helping. And as I said, there is a little bit of shade here and there when the sun goes behind these big clouds. Maybe I'm just ready myself after the 2 Inferno practices, Mike. I don't know.
You've been prepared. Hey, make sure, BJ, you're not just solely drinking water, man. You get some electrolytes in there too. You're going to flush your system. So mix in some of those salt tablets and packets from the sideline if you can sneak one after the Broncos go back inside. I'm seeing right here, we have great engagement already. Mark Michelson says, I predict a modest day for AJ, not because he isn't Heisman Trophy worthy, but because he is. BSU will either figure out how to use him as a decoy and find other weapons, or it's going to be a long day. I think there could be some truth to that, but at the end of the day, man, like, you don't want to get too cute if you're Dirk Cutter. This is a situation where you just want to put your best foot forward. And frankly, the best foot forward right now, outside of Jonah Dalmas and JFR, the best foot forward is riding behind this great offensive line in Ashton Genty and setting the tone early with this is going to be a long physical day for Georgia Southern. And that's what I'm here to watch. I do know that part of the country prides itself on being a football craze type country. They play great high school football in South Georgia, play great. You have a tremendous recruiting base in your backyard. So I do think that there's going to be a chip on the shoulder of the Eagles. The Georgia Southern program is going to want to make a case for this is real down South Georgia boy football. And so I think it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, speaking of chip on the shoulder, I was going to ask you about Maddox Madsen, man, being a former quarterback and so much on this quarterback battle going into the game and the season, and Maddox Madsen wins the job. What do you make of Maddox Madsen and his desire probably to go out and try to shut some people up today?
Well, I hope he doesn't carry too much of that into this game. I hope that Maddox Madsen's just worried about executing and operating the offense and moving the sticks, which is something that he's done. If he gets outside of himself, BJ, and starts trying to prove the doubters wrong and silence Bronco Nation, that's when I think the turnovers are going to start being created. Just play the game. You've played a lot of football. If you're Maddox Madsen, you played a ton of high leverage snaps a year ago. So I think it's important for Maddox just to play his game. Don't be caught up in every type of narrative that exists outside, and just enjoy the process. Enjoy being the starting quarterback and being a part of an offense that has a ton of weapons, and just be a great ball distributor and a great decision maker. And I think that's where Maddox Madsen ultimately can win over these fans.
You mentioned the specialists early in the game. How big is special teams and in particular field position on the road in a season opener?
Well, they're just watching early college football games this morning. There's block punts for touchdowns. If you're Stacey Collins, the number one thing you want to do is play sound special teams. Is that you want to avoid the catastrophic. And then as you start getting into the game, you want to create some type of game-changing play. But if you're playing the special teams, which I know Stacey Collins is the best in the business, I've worked with them at Utah State. If you're playing the game soundly, and you have great athletes with tremendous want to on the special team side of things, you're going to change the field position. You're going to create explosive plays. And that's where I do think this roster for Boise State, look at Sire Gaines potentially as a returner, other different, Breezy Dubar, that you got guys that could create opportunities because there is a lot of depth.
Well, you got your quarterbacks, your specialists right here, Mike, coming out. Maddox Madsen, nice crowd. We're in the corner where all the Boise State family section and tickets sold were. So you've got your returners, you've got your quarterbacks, the first set of players getting ready to head out onto the field here.
Yeah, it's good. I always love the early outs. You get a combination of your specialists, your returners, all the different people that are potentially going to be involved. A lot of times the centers make their way out over the course of the next 5-6 minutes. So quarterbacks are getting warmed up early. Is Malachi Nelson right in front of you right there? Is that who I see?
Here's Ashton Genty getting ready to do some kick returns as well. Wouldn't that be fun today to see Ashton Genty return a kick or two?
Yeah, I think it's a smart play by Boise State. Even if he has zero intention of returning a kick, that's going to get the attention of at least a couple PAs. We got to get Jay Tuss to get his
cameraman out of the way here. Jay Tuss, cameraman, Channel 7's right blocking our view here. Come on, John Mark. Let's slide over a little bit here.
Yeah, John Mark was part of our very long commute back to my house after the CSU debacle a year ago. So yeah, I remember spending some time with John Mark. But yeah, you can see Ashton Genty. If you just look at the screen right now, and I know a lot of people are watching on YouTube, on Twitter, on X, you can just see the lower half. I mean, that is the engine that it plows through all types of defenses. This guy creates. He creates at the point of contact. And Ashton Genty is somebody that I think that all of college football is going to know a whole heck of a lot more after these first few weeks of this season.
I'm just looking at from left to right. Ashton Genty, Sire Gaines, you got Breezy Dubar. I mean, even Tyler Crow. I mean, this is just a plethora of riches at the skill position here for Boise State this year.
It sure is. And that's just your running back group. There's the guys that have played football. Sire Gaines making a big name for himself in this offseason. Spring ball and fall camp was fantastic from everything that I heard and read. But then you have the perimeter, the length at receiver, the speed at receiver. You have the one of the things that I'm most excited about, not having watched the 2022 season, is the return of Latrell Caples. To see him come back to health, a great story of a great Bronco, a guy that does anything, it was a great teammate a year ago, and now he's going to be arguably maybe receiver number one. That could be his type of role because of the experience. I mean, you got guys like Chase Penry that are probably in the 5th, 6th, 7th receiver conversation that are really good football players that could also put themselves into more opportunities today.
There go the big guys. There go the centers. I got to ask you, I know I already asked you about Ashton Genty, but man, just seeing him right here, what do you think is going through a guy like him mind? No, coming back to Boise State, maybe could have got bigger money elsewhere. The whole Heisman campaign, like his first game after 8 months off. Here we are, 46 minutes on the clock, finally putting the pads on. What do you think going through Ashton Genty's mind right now?
Well, I think I think he's not thinking at all about any second guessing of his decision to come back to Boise State. You saw how much running backs draft stocks plummet, period. So it's all about just creating value for yourself. So his entire mindset, just listening to his interviews, his mindset is twofold. Number one, he loves the game of football, like passionately loves football. And so he wants to just go do what he does and does incredibly well. Frankly, I believe that, he's got the mindset. I was created to be somebody that is different on this field. And then the second thing is he loves Boise State. He loves his teammates. And so he wants to do everything he can, just like he always has done, without any selfish ambitions, just to go do what he does for his teammates and for his university that he loves so much and has been so loyal to. So I think he's going to go out and play just consistent Ashton Genty football, which we all know is absolutely elite football.
Mike, again, you're going to be doing the post-game show live about 5 minutes after the game ends. We're excited to have you fire up. Give us your final thoughts here, whether it's a key or two or a bold prediction or just your final thoughts in terms of what you want to see in this game and then what you're expecting to be talking about on the post-game show.
This might be the paranoia of the former coach in me, but I do think that Georgia Southern is going to be a bigger test than most of Bronco Nation thinks it's going to be. There's going to be speed. There's really good football players in that program. So my full expectation is that this game isn't going to necessarily be won early on. I think this thing's going to go into the third quarter with some storylines. That's my gut feel, but it might just be paranoia. I don't know. It's my alma mater, so I get those same types of nerves. I think Georgia Southern's got a really good program and will have tremendous athletes. Boise State's going to go out and have to win this game. Nothing will be given to them.
Well, we appreciate it, Mike. We're looking forward to it. Again, we're going to have you on the post-game show. Super excited for that. And again, Mike Sanford will be on the post-game show right when the game ends, like 5 minutes after the game ends. As soon as it ends, switch over to Bronco Nation News on YouTube. If you don't see the broadcast right away, refresh your page every minute or two. It'll pop up. And Mike, you're going to take you want a lot of comments and a lot of thoughts. That's going to help really get Bronco. You want Bronco Nation's opinion here after game one.
No, I absolutely do. I want some reactions. I want some questions, and I look forward to. I'm going to be taking an entire notebook full of notes just to talk about some of the storylines that I see from a coach's perspective, but also wanting to make it something that makes the fans feel like they are connected to whatever happens on that field right behind you. So it's going to be a great day. It's great to be back. College football's back. It's Christmas morning, man. It's Christmas afternoon. Time to go have some fun, BJ.
We got 330 just watching on YouTube alone right now. So super excited for this. And I would anticipate the post-game show, Mike, having just as much interest here as we show another set of players real quick taking the field. But Mike, again, thank you so much for doing this. Really excited and appreciative of you for wanting to do this on the post-game show. I'll be joining you again. You'll come on live right when the game ends. You'll give your analysis, your thoughts. You'll take and get the pulse of Bronco Nation as Chris Marshall takes the field for his first time there. I know he's excited for that. It's going to be a fun game and a fun post-game show, Mike. You'll kick it off 5 minutes after the game ends. And then, as I said, I'll jump on. We'll hear from Spencer Danielson. We'll hear from the players. And I know we're looking forward to that. So, Mike, thanks again, man. And we'll be talking to you real soon here.
Yeah, log in right after for the Taco Bell post-game show. I'll be there with all the answers and to your questions, hopefully.
There he is. Appreciate it. Mike Sanford, again, he'll be on the post-game show. We are appreciative of him. We still got plenty to get to. We're going to hear from Stacy Collins. We got Marco Notriani as well. We got to take a quick time out, though. You're watching this show for free thanks to our great sponsors. Here's a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Plenty more as we continue to show you a live look at warm-ups. The Broncos streaming onto the field, and we'll keep getting you set here on Bronco Nation News. The fall kickoff sale is underway at Lithia, Florida, Boise. Check out their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. They've got NIL deals with 6 student athletes at Boise State, including 4 football players, Jonah Dalmas, Ahmed Hassanin, Matt Lauder, and Andrew Simpson. They're all rocking rides from Lithia, Florida, Boise, and you can as well. The Raines family purchased our F-150 a couple years ago from Lithia. Couldn't be happier with the customer service. We still get the free lifetime oil changes. Always enjoy coming back and seeing Jim and his staff, so friendly. And our salesperson, Kim, did a tremendous job helping us out every step of the way, still sends us a Christmas card. So check them out, that fall kickoff sale. You looking for the F-150, the Ford Bronco, the E-Mach Ford Mustang, all their vehicles. Again, view them online, lithiafordboise.com. Check them out on Fairview in Boise, Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell is hiring. You can get more information at TacoBellWorks.com. The Treasure Valley Taco Bell stores offering free food while you work, half your wages the next day after you work, great promotional opportunities, and more. It's a great environment, and if you're looking for a job, highly recommend Taco Bell. You can apply at TacoBellWorks.com, and you can also get more information there about the giving efforts of Taco Bell, the SON Management Group, and the Nicolason family. The student endowed scholarships for the men's and women's basketball team, they come from SON Management Group and the Nicolason family. Get more information, apply for a job, go eat at Taco Bell. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. You looking for that new jersey or shirt for game day? Head on in to the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. You can order anywhere in the world, but if you're in the Boise area, I highly recommend just going to the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall next to Pro Image. The Blue and Orange Store, whether it's coaches' sideline apparel, jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it, they've got it at the Blue and Orange Store. Again, all your Boise State gear. I know there's a lot of places in town you can choose to go shopping for Boise State gear, but if you want the most comprehensive selection and you want to help a great guy in Travis Hawks, who's been a big supporter from day one of Bronco Nation News, check them out, the Blue and Orange Store, online, theblueandorangestore.com. Maybe you never thought about getting into the trucking industry, but if you're looking for a career change, you should. Transportation Compliance Service. It's a local company based in the Treasure Valley, helping folks all over the world get into the trucking industry, whether it's the DOT overweight permits, all the paperwork, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time, they can help you out. Those that try to do it themselves, in fact, 75% that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. Let the professionals handle the paperwork so you can get out there on the open road. Check them out, transcomservice.com, 866-813-7620. Again, Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. On the go, don't have enough time to cook up a nice meal, but don't want to always be eating out fast food. You want a cheap option, you want a healthy option, well, I got it for you. LeanFeastMeridian.com. You make your order on a Sunday or Monday, they deliver the food to your house, and all week you've got your meals from Lean Feast. I'm talking chicken, steak, fish, shrimp, turkey, you name it, they got it all. It's 2 minutes in the microwave. You can have them in your fridge for up to 5 days. It's all healthy, all different kinds of diets, 10,000 plus combinations. The graphic on the bottom of the screen there is wrong. It is leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. Tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. They'll hook you up with a sweet deal. And again, no excuse to not eat healthy now because they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. It's Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Former Boise State quarterback and longtime coach Mike Sanford joins local sports talk radio host Johnny Mallory for football talk with a unique perspective. They'll talk Boise State, college football, and beyond. Check it out every Wednesday at 8 on Bronco Nation News. All right, back here live as countdown to kickoff continues on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show here on Bronco Nation News. We are in the Western Collective Studios. Shout out to those of you at the watch party. I know my wife's heading down with my kids. Jaden Finch is down there. We're going to check in next week probably with the folks at the watch party for the Oregon game. But you still got 35 minutes. Head on down to Western Collective if you want to watch the game down there. It's inside the National Bar. Right when you walk in, House of Western down there on Idaho Street. Turn to the right, and you'll be excited to go and watch the game. All right, the offense is getting ready to come over here. The full team is going to take the field. I'm going to get out of the way here for a second so you can watch live as your Broncos take the field for the first time together in 2024. Maddox Madsen right there. Ahmed Hassanin getting ready to greet him. Here come the 2024 Broncos getting ready to take the field for the first time. How you feeling, Bronco Nation? Loud cheers from the fans. A lot of Boise State parents, fans in the corner of the end zone here on the second level. Broncos for the first time in 2024 taking the field as a group. Full team out here, going to get some stretching in. A lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm down here on the field. As Boise State, the entire team is now on the field for pregame warmups. You see no big surprises. We haven't seen the full release that I have seen of anybody out for this game. Should be coming anytime now that the full team is out here, but I don't see any big surprises. So in terms of a depth chart perspective, you may see a little rotating of the offensive line since this is since this is so hot down here on the field, I would expect you to see some rotating amongst some of the offensive linemen, rotating at a lot of positions, frankly. You're going to see the defensive line. There's Spencer Danielson on the left side of the screen. He's getting fired up now, walking back to the right here on the 5-yard line. But you're going to see a lot of players play. They're going to combat this heat, do what they need to do to get as many guys fresh as possible for this one. Here at Paulson Stadium, 36 minutes on the clock. And again, you're watching a live stream here at Paulson Stadium on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. We've got 13 of them. We hope you'll consider subscribing to Bronco Nation News. $50 gets you a full year. $50 gets you a full year at Bronco Nation News using that promo code BNN50 deal. Wasn't the cheapest trip to get down here, but you're watching this show for free on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. Thanks to our sponsors, and thanks to those of you that have already subscribed to help make this possible. So if you're able to help us out, we'd really appreciate it. We'll be giving you live coverage from the field every game this season as Boise State gets set to kick off the 2024 campaign. They're going to meet at midfield. The first official hype circle on a game day for the Boise State football team. But again, all of our sponsors, there's 13 of them. We've been telling you about them throughout the show. We'll continue to. Go support the sponsors, folks. Go buy your next car or truck from Lithia. Go start an account at ICCU. Use Row Painting for your next painting project. Go shop at Jackson's, Ridley's Markets. Use Matt Bauscher to buy your next house. The list goes on and on with all of our great sponsors at Bronco Nation News, and we're super appreciative. And hopefully you're chowing down on some Taco Bell right now. We appreciate Taco Bell. They'll be sponsoring our post-game show. There it is, the first official hype circle in the books. The teams will spread out to their various spots, the positions. Got the defensive line coming over here to our left. We'll show you a little bit of that D-line right here, getting set with Coach Chinander for this game. Crowd starting to file in here. Boise State going with the all-white uniforms for the opener here against Georgia Southern. Probably a smart play. Georgia Southern's got navy blue helmets and jerseys. They've got white pants as well. But 8 months, 259 days, and we are finally within 35 minutes of kickoff for the Boise State football team. There was no slide on ESPNU. This game will kick off at 4:05. 4:05 kickoff on ESPNU. So make sure you're not late flipping over, or you will be late missing part of this broadcast. We're going to continue showing you the Broncos warm up, but we're going to hear from Stacy Collins. I caught up with him on Wednesday, getting set for special teams, linebackers, a lot to talk about with Stacy Collins. So keep watching the warm-ups. And again, Melinda, appreciate you. She says, this is awesome. Feel like we were there with you. That's the goal. That is the goal, folks, to give you a live look on the field so you can get that feeling of what it's like to be down here in Statesboro, Georgia. So truly appreciative. It's a miracle. I'm thankful that the internet's working so far. Our laptop hasn't overheated. So we might be playing with fire here. Luckily, we only have about 10 or 15 minutes to go. But hope you guys are enjoying this. And again, support the sponsors. Consider a subscription for making this happen. Exclusive, unparalleled access here as we get you set for 2024. Let's hear from Stacy Collins as we continue to show you what's going on here on the pregame show.
They're explosive. They had a freshman kick returner who's a freshman All-American, and they're explosive. They got the punt return transfer in, but they've got some guys. They got great team speed. So, that's always a challenge in space with great team speed. They're very well coached. Their special teams coordinator, he does a great job. Their punter's got a lefty kid with a big leg. So, you put Pop on that tape, they're a good football team.
I know first game there's a lot of unknowns. In terms of special teams unknowns, is it usually easier than trying to look at an offense defense because the scheme's going to stay the same from last year in terms of personnel versus scheme? What's it like trying to analyze special teams going into game one?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge just like it is on offense and defense because people can certainly change during the offseason. A lot of people are doing some studies trying to figure out what works best for them. So you try to get a beat on what you think they're going to be. I think these early games is more about yourself. How can we execute our fundamentals and techniques and schemes? So we try to work a broad base and make sure we're sound with what we're doing. And you see early, you saw games last week, special teams can make a big difference, especially it's all the time, but these early games, you'll see big swings.
You obviously came in here to revamp the special teams and kind of get the focus back on, that making that equally important as offense and defense, and we saw the logos and all that. I mean, you just the 8 months, wherever it's been from when you got here and you implemented the system and everything, and got the guys buying into special teams again to the group you're getting on the plane with tomorrow. How do you feel overall about special teams?
Well, I think, the cool thing about Boise State's culture's here, and so much of what you do from a special team standpoint starts with culture. It's the effort that you put in there. It's the type of players that you have. And certainly scheme's a part of it, but if you have those first two elements, it gives you a good base. And so these guys have been great guys to work with, no different than when I was here before. Now we got to put it on the field. So we put the work in. It'll be exciting to go down there and play a really good Georgia Southern team.
I know we've talked a lot about the returners and who those could potentially be. How do you feel about how that went, and who are we going to see back there returning the kicks and punts?
Yeah, I think it's went well. You look at a handful of guys that we talked about before still in that mix. Latrell's done a nice job with it. Ashton's back there on both and handling both. And then Cooper Jones on punt returns, he stood out, so he's put a lot of competition in there. Caden Shannon with Penry being able to get back and get going, those are two guys that also have been back there working kick returns for us.
Is that just situationally? Is it just alternating guys? I mean, do you have one guy you're going to probably focus on mostly to start with, or what? How do you kind of divvy the reps up there?
Sure, fair question there. A little bit of both. We're going to do some things situationally and and work with that, and then we got to find out who can really produce in game day. So you may see a couple different people back there.
In terms of special teams demons, who are a couple guys that are just going to be, we're going to see all over the special teams units, and that are guys that either are starters or key members, or maybe aren't, that are going to be key players on special teams?
Yeah, I think a couple guys you look at. Alex Tudor's got a great history here playing special teams, and you'll see him jump out. Ty Benefield does a great job. I'll tell you, Sire Gaines has done an awesome job for us for a freshman out there at running back. Chase Martin's a guy who has a linebacker, but there's a group of those guys that fit in. So the cool thing here is everybody's invested with it from the top down, from Coach Danielson. So those are a handful of names. But I'm also looking to see who really shows up on Saturday and who can take that next step when we're in a true game environment.
You mentioned kind of the culture here and special teams always being an important part. Was that when you came in and with the logos and implemented all this, was that a pretty easy sell to get guys that want to buy into special teams?
Yeah, it certainly was here at Boise State. It's part of the DNA. They've won a lot of football games here well before I was even, watching from afar. And that's been the culture and DNA of this place. So it's been probably a lot easier than some other places.
Just to kind of kick it off on Saturday and see what you got and put all the hype and talk in the last 8 months kind of to bed and just kind of actually have a game on Saturday. What's the feeling like for you and the coaching staff?
Well, it's great. You're judged on the 12 game, 12 guaranteed game you have. So this is payday. You spend a lot of time getting to this point and certainly trying to check every box, and you got the butterflies still rolling, but we're excited to play. We've prepared well. It's our time to to lace them up and get on the field and put it in action.
And to have on the road week one, to have the kicker you do and the punter you do, how nice is that?
That's certainly nice. I mean, those are two great players, great people, great to be around. So having that battery back with Mason Hutton too as our long snappers, that's definitely an advantage for us on our end.
I know Tyler's doing a lot of the help with those guys, but is there anything in particular other than just distance or getting stronger? Is there anything that you've seen in the last 8 months that with Jonah and with James that we know where they've improved?
Yeah, I think they've attacked every snap from a game day standpoint. The mental side of it, certainly both have physical tools that have put them where they're at, but I think just how they've attacked every rep from a mental standpoint. Every rep is a game day rep for them, and so whether we're in situational kicking positions, whether we're directional hang, whatever we're working off of that, I think that's what I've been most impressed with how the mental steps that they've taken over the last, especially these last few weeks of camp.
And I'm going to have to be talking to Marco here pretty soon too.
Yeah.
How's he done this camp? And I know last year, obviously did some things, and I know he's healthy and stuff. I mean, where's Marco and the importance that he is to this defense?
Yeah, Marco's in a great spot. He's back physically, which was the biggest challenge going through a couple different injuries, but wasn't able to get here spring. But he's an unbelievable summer, unbelievable fall camp. The man bleeds blue. He's an ultra alpha. He understands the room. He understands our system as well as anybody. And I'm fired up to get out and watch him play.
And obviously with Andrew, his play and production kind of speaks for itself. But we've seen Jake Rip and Chase Martin, some of these other guys. I mean, how do you feel about the depth you have at linebacker?
Yeah, you got to have depth. I mean, these are long seasons. You've got to play multiple guys. I mean, I can't just get the days that just maybe playing two linebackers and sitting through the season. It's not there. So we'll use those guys in multiple roles. We'll keep guys fresh. We'll play them, and then we're going to use those guys on special teams too.
In terms of the travel roster and all that, and going back to kind of the redshirt rule and all that with the freshmen and special teams, how was that conversation? How'd that go? 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, in terms of just deciding what true freshmen might be out there and how they contribute on special teams. And maybe it's not as many in the past if a lot of your starters are out there playing, but how's that conversation always go?
Yeah, that's certainly a role for those guys, and those guys are scrapping and fighting for those roles, and they want to play. So if they've proven they can get on the field, we're going to play whoever's best is, and they're best in that situation. We're going to see some young guys on the field. You're going to see some guys out there for the first time, and we're excited to do that.
Well, there he is, Stacey Collins. Special teams going to be a big factor in the game today, obviously. You see Boise State going through some plays and things right in front of us. Almost had a chance to grab the football there. They're about done with their warm-ups. They're going to have a kick and a punt, and they're heading into the locker room here to get ready for this one. So 26 minutes until kickoff. You see some of the coaches coming off right now. There's Eric Chenander, Dirk Cutter, Maddox Madsen, number 4, right here in the front of this group. You can see him. There's the mascot, the Eagle. There's the Eagle. How you feeling, Eagle? Gus is giving us hell, apparently. All right, there we go. Thanks, Gus. And there you go. You see the players waiting for the final kick to go through the uprights here. Jonah Dalmas attempting about a 30-yard field goal. Surprise, surprise, it's right through the middle. And here go the Broncos into the locker room for the final time to regroup before coming out for kickoff here at Paulson Stadium. Bronco fans making some noise here in the corner of the end zone. A lot of trash talking going on. Ashton Genty already fired up, trash talking with the students over there for Georgia Southern. Oh, this could get fun. Look at these guys talking. Look at Ashton Genty. He's fired up. Got a little swagger as he skips back towards the locker room. Oh, man, this could be fun here, folks. Had some trash talking going on. Looked like they were getting into it with Ashton Genty a little bit there on the sideline with the fans. So here goes Spencer Danielson. He's the last guy to head off. And this has been a lot of fun. We really appreciate you guys for checking us out. Lithia Ford, a Boise pregame show. Again, the Western Collective Studios. Appreciate Kerry Pruitt and Western Collective. We thank all of our sponsors for what they're doing for Bronco Nation News. There's 13 of them. I can't remember them. Here they are.
Bronco Nation News is presented by RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.
All right, we appreciate you guys for checking us out. They're getting ready for the pregame show here with the band and the cheerleaders. I got to pack all this stuff up and try to get up to the press box by kickoff. Thank you so much, guys. I know the signal's going out now, too, so it looks like perfect timing maybe if we're having some issues with the signal. But, again, thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you guys for watching the show. Really appreciate it. An hour and 40 minutes. We're approaching 2,000 viewers. Man, it's going to be a fun football season, and we're very excited to kick it off here in about 25 minutes over on ESPNU. So thanks so much. Enjoy the game. Go subscribe if you can. Again, BNN50 deal is the promo code. You get $50 for that first year if you can help us out and help us provide coverage like you've gotten here watching this live pregame show from Paulson Stadium here in Statesboro, Georgia. So make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here. I think it's over on this side. Like the video. Help open the algorithms. And again, on the Taco Bell postgame show, it's going to be 5 minutes after the game ends. Soon as the game ends, come back to YouTube. Mike Sanford will kick off the postgame show. I'll talk to Spencer Danielson and some players. We'll get that locked into the system as well, and I'll join Mike in the middle of the show. So, guys, we made it. 259 days. Boise State is back, and they're about to take on Georgia Southern. So thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the game. Hope you're drinking some Horseshoe Golden Ale. We'll talk on the postgame. Make sure you follow them on Twitter, Bronco Nation. You got 20 minutes. That's just enough time to log onto your computer and subscribe for $50 to Bronco Nation News. Like us on Facebook. Like us on all of our social media channels, but most importantly, YouTube. Make sure you give us that YouTube subscription and follow here. So thank you, guys. Now, so I think it's perfect to have a great